Right, once again, the combination of heat by day and owls by night has made it really easy to put off these plantings, and I managed to miss yesterday, and when I convinced myself I should get on with it, it was actually past midnight, so I thought, just do them both today. So, first up today, we're going to be replacing Persea americana. This is the avocado. This is actually one of the trees that has done worst of everything I planted this year. This is actually one that had been doing okay, and then the last time I went away for a bit, it just didn't seem to perk back up. And yeah, its stem, when that rain hit, which I thought might finally give it the burst to sort of push through and come back, that seemed to finish it off, and the termites took it apart a couple days later. So we're going to be replacing this with a tree that has outdone my expectations so far, because even some very small ones that went in areas that I thought were a little bit marginal seem to be holding on pretty well and look like they're ready to put out some decent growth when the rain hits properly. So this is a loquat, Eriobotrya japonica, which is actually probably from China originally, but has been grown in Japan for a very long time, so I think we can forgive that geographical name. Second up tonight, I have mentioned that our soil is very good for citrus, and that is partially because we are very well drained, and in this spot that is particularly true because there is another cavity underneath here which seems to have been a root that has rotted, not a particularly large one, so I can plug that with a dracaena and a little bit of bamboo leaves, and we should be good for not over-draining the soil here and allowing some of the water to soak in around this little tree. Another part of the reason for that is that we have relatively low nitrate in the soil, which citrus can be very sensitive to excess fertilization. They do like a little bit, but they don't like too much. And then the other thing is that we have quite high iron in the soil. A lot of people, even here with our generally iron-rich soils, will put extra bits of iron in around citrus trees and other fruit trees because they do seem to appreciate it. And this spot should be extra good for that because this is a spot where we used to have a lot of scrap metal lying around rusting before it was repurposed. So the soil here, on top of the naturally high level of irons, has an artificially elevated amount of iron. So that should be really ideal for this little pomelo, which is one of the true species of citrus and one of the ancestors of most domesticated citrus, Citrus maxima. It does get a bit confusing here because the Afrikaans for grapefruit is actually also pomelo, even though grapefruit is a hybrid between a pomelo and an orange, but this has the very distinctive widened leaf bases on most of its leaves, which is much more usual in a pomelo than in a grapefruit, which tend to have a distinctly sort of edged leaf base, but not broad and round as you see in a pomelo. This is going to be getting a piece of the Agave attenuata as ground cover, not because I think it's better than aloes necessarily. It is toxic as well as being succulent, so that is quite good, but the reason that I use this is because the aloes that I was going to get a piece from are in the area. The owls are a bit active and the young are very noisy tonight, and I don't fancy getting hit in the head. We're also going to be putting a couple of pieces of Calico fetching koi again because this is very accessible without having to go to the areas that the young owls are learning to fly in. And that should be everything for tonight, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you haven't enjoyed it, thank you for watching anyway. Please tune in again tomorrow because I will be planting something different. Hopefully it will be tomorrow, not the day after when I'd have to do two, but we'll see.